In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to take apart an International Prostar. I have a project to do, and this will be a perfect time to get some film. We're going to start off up here in the front. There are two sets of pins that hold the front end assembly together. One is for this bumper. As you can see, it kind of moves forward and tilts so the hood can open up. That's a feature on the DCP IH Prostar. Other trucks don't have this. So you can take off the pin here on both sides and remove the bumper, or I'm going to try leaving it on because the bumper on this particular build does not need to be replaced. So I'm going to try leaving that on for the moment. I may have to take it off just to get the hood pins off. Now, so there's two pins that hold the bumper on, and then there's two pins that hold the hood on. You can see here in the yellow the pins on each side. So that's the goal. Gonna try and take them off without taking the bumper off. Using a flat-sided side cutter, gonna get in on the side and pull each pin out. There we go. There's pin number one. And gonna get in. There is a little bit of give because that is all moving, so you can sneak in and begin taking those out. There we go. And the hood comes off. There are headlights and a grille, and then there are some plastic parts on the inside of the hood that also need to come out. We'll begin with these plastic pieces on the inside, taking a fairly small screwdriver, just getting underneath there and prying up. And of course, keeping all my parts in a parts bin. Next, I want to remove the headlights. There's some plastic that's been smashed on the inside of the hood. I'm just going to take my knife here and cut that away. Then there are two pins, 1, 2, on each side that hold these headlights in. I'm actually going to cut the long part of the pin off. That way, when I go to push it out, that's not in the way. Now I can go ahead and begin pushing from the inside out. There we go. And here is the headlight. It does come in two pieces. There's an inner and an outer part. You can see it better on this one. There's the clear plastic on the outside, and then the orange and chrome piece on the inside. And if you need to, get back in there and trim away any plastic pin that may not have come clean the first time. I'll try again. There we go. Finally, we have the hood grill here. We'll go ahead and push that out. And there will be 4 pins. Again, going to trim away the excess. And that takes care of our hood. We'll set that to the side. The sleeper comes off with 2 screws on the bottom. There's one underneath the driveline and one in the transmission. Okay, didn't quite get that one all the way out. And we'll put these 2 screws in our parts bin. This particular cap needs to be stripped all the way down due to the fact I need to repaint this entire frame another color. And I forgot, or else I would have taken that off straight away. Forgot about that. So we'll just do that right now. Just grab those 2 pins. There we go. And bumper's out. And it's good fortune I don't have to repaint that. Okay, we will go ahead and pull the headache rack off. It comes clean, it's die cast and will come off easily just by wiggling it back and forth. This deck plate we can get underneath the die cast and the plastic. Pull that off. The ladder I actually need to save for this build, as the ladder gets repainted black. A lot of times the ladders I don't need to save. And it doesn't want to come off very easy. So we'll try between the die cast and the plastic. There it is. Next, we'll go ahead and take off the fenders. We're going to save these quarter fenders for other projects. This particular build has half fenders. The rear mud flaps are pinned from the bottom up. And they're not wanting to come out very easy. I'll try pushing with the screwdriver. Yep. There we go. There. Saved one pin, broke them, but that's okay. They'll glue back together easy. Next, we'll begin taking some of these parts off up front, fuel tanks. And those front wheels, these are not wide enough to take the wheels off generally on most trucks, so I just go between the die cast front suspension and the tire and then open them. Okay, we're getting close. Next, we'll go ahead and take off the rear end. That will be repainted red, the color of the cab. The rear suspension comes off much like a Peterbilt. And that takes care of the frame. I'm going to leave the fifth wheel plate on while we're in paint stripper. The bottom end of the cab is clipped in with this plastic piece at the back. You can see the two rivets there holding this plastic piece to the die cast. This will end up being ruined if it ends up in paint stripper. I like to take the plastic piece off by drilling those two rivets out. Do not get worried if you end up breaking the plastic piece like I just did, because we can glue all of this in once we go back to assemble. I like to reuse the stock parts as much as I can. I think it helps when you're going back together, but there are times when it's just not possible due to breaking them. We can go ahead and put that piece on once we go back to assemble. The rear exhaust is pinned into the back. It should come off fairly easy. All of this back here is just extra detail. None of it is plastic that needs to be removed. Now that this part is removed, we can take out the floor. The interior here, the front driver's seat and all that, that is pinned into the bottom of the die cast. You can see pins here, 1, 2, 3, 4. That can be removed by taking your knife and going between the plastic and the die cast. Twist gently to remove it. To remove the interior, take your knife between the plastic and die cast to cut any glue or break any glue parts. The windshield is pinned in place with 1, 2 pins. Those need to be drilled out before they can be removed, as well as the visor is also held in with a pin. So there's actually 4 holding the front windscreen and the visor in place. While we're here though, we can go ahead and remove the mirrors. I do have an extra set of mirrors because this truck came with the extra set of mirrors. However, I do like to keep them just in case I happen to break one by accident. It's always good to have extra mirrors on hand. there's a place on the inside where the mirror is pinned in the die cast. I'm pushing from the inside out. Seems like these windows have an extra amount of glue holding them into place. The thing I like to do before I try anything else is just push them out with my thumb or finger. Sometimes that works, and other times not so much. Before I end up using a tool, that's what I like to try first go. The thing I don't want to do is push too hard, because what happens here is you can begin to see how I'm scoring this. I'm putting pressure on there and it's making this white mark where I'm actually forcing the plastic. I don't like doing that because that's a permanent look. If you can avoid it, don't let that happen. So now that I've tried that, I'm going to go in with my knife on the inside and try cutting around this seam, trying to break up any glue that might be holding this bad boy in there. The problem with that is you can't get in from the top and scrape down. You can only go from the bottom and then also on this one side, and you might get lucky going on the back wall, but there's really not a lot of room there to mess around. So our goal here is to try and break up the glue as much as we can without damaging the window. This is hard work right here. Can be done. This is difficult. Okay, I'm gonna try again with my, oh, there we go. Okay. We did manage to score this just a little bit. You can see a tiny white dot here. We're pushing and bending that plastic. That's what happens when you bend the plastic. You leave these marks that are permanent. Let's try the other side right now, and we're going to do the same thing again, trying to get underneath that plastic, breaking up any glue that might be holding it in. Okay. There I managed to push on a corner of the window, and I managed not to bend it in any way. You can see that this window is pretty pristine. I do have some plastic on the inside that you can see from the outside, but we'll just get that out of there and remove that. There. Now we can see we got a nice clear window. Whew. Thank goodness that's done. Using a small drill bit here, these are smaller rivets, so they do not take as much drilling to be removed. The goal here is to remove the head of the rivet without drilling through the die cast. Notice how I slid off the head of the rivet there. That's a good reason to go slow. Well, let's try and get this dude out of there and see what happens. I'm going to try and remove the inside interior first. It'll be easier, I think, if we... Never mind. Thought that was going to be harder than it actually was. Okay, so what's going to happen here is there is a round pin here going around that rivet. I don't think I have enough die cast removed to make that slide off easy. So what I think I'm going to do here is to there we go. So what I've managed to do is break some of the plastic around that pin. Even though I tried to remove the head of the die cast there, I've ended up breaking the plastic around the rivet, and so it should push out. There we go. There goes the visor, and that is plastic, so do not put it in paint remover. And now we should be able to remove there we go. Now we've removed that cleanly. Now our Prostar is fully disassembled. If you have any questions, please ask. Thanks for watching.